New developments in the fatal police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. As we reported before the break, a North Carolina sheriff is keeping 3 officers involved in the altercation on administrative leave, while allowing 4 other officers to return to duty.
This as Brown's family prepares for the funeral that will be taking place on Monday. And joining us right now is civil rights attorney Benjamin Crump. He represents Andrew Brown Jr.'s family, as well as George Floyd's family as well, or as Reverend Al refers to him, Black America's Attorney General. Mr. Crump, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time and the work that you've been doing all these years since Trayvon and beyond. Let's pick up right where what Lindsay was saying right there. There's so much to get into this morning, but I first want to get your reaction to what you just heard from Lindsay, that those officers are returning to work. What message does that send?
It sends a message that they are not trying to respect the humanity of Andrew Brown, this citizen who deserved every right at due process, deserved the right to not have excessive use of force by the police kill him, which follows a pattern of this epidemic of police killings of unarmed Black people.
How unusual is it for North Carolina to not turn over the body camera video? We know that the sheriff here asked a court whether it would interfere with the investigation, and that judge is not letting that be released yet. How rare is that?
Well, recently, we've been demanding transparency, and you see that we have been getting police departments and chiefs to try to be transparent, to release the videos to the public so we can have trust. But apparently, this county sheriff and the county district attorney, and especially the district attorney who's going to be in charge of prosecuting the case, are reverting back to the old playbook of delay, delay, delay. And we know oftentimes if they delay long enough, they'll have it swept under the rug. But we refuse to let them do that.
Okay, we do know some things so far. Family members and the local attorney there for the family have seen 20 seconds of video. It's not a lot. You guys have conducted an autopsy in which you gleaned some information about his death. Based on the video that was seen and the autopsy, what exactly went down there in Elizabeth City?
As far as we can tell, we saw the city view camera when the deputies come in on the back of a truck holding assault rifles, and they immediately jump off the truck, and you hear shots being fired. We don't see what has happened, but we know that at some point, based on what the family and my co-counsel, Attorney Lassiter, has informed us, you see these officers chasing the truck with assault rifles, shooting at the truck while it's going away, not putting them in any fear, any harm, or any danger. He's trying to get away from them. So it's inexplicable why Black people running away from the police seem like it's one of the most dangerous things to police, where they have to use deadly force. And when you compare that to confirmed white men who murdered people, they always seem to take them alive. And that's why I continue to argue there's 2 justice systems in America, one for white America and one for Black America, because that's why Andrew Brown ended up with a bullet in the back of his head.
Well, that is something that you are working to change, and you, along with members of George Floyd's family, met with Chuck Schumer, as well as Senators Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham this week. You all discussed ways to move toward meaningful change in legislation. What came out of that meeting, and how optimistic are you right now?
Very optimistic, because I believe everybody is going to let humanity prevail. Just like humanity prevailed in the civil matter, where we had the historic $27 million settlement and the policy reforms, and how humanity prevailed in the Derek Chauvin trial, I believe humanity will prevail in the United States Senate, and President Biden will sign the George Floyd Act before the 1-year anniversary. Now, I understand there's going to be some challenges, but Senator Cory Booker, as well as Congresswoman Karen Bass and the other great senators that you talked about, listen intently to these families, bare their heart, and talk about there is blood on this proposed legislation. So anything that is presented cannot be watered down. It has to be meaningful. And that's what we talked about when we went to the White House as well.
You know, mentioned that you've been fighting this fight, and for many of these families dating back more than a decade now, Trayvon and beyond. There was a debate, Mr. Crump, this week that took place, teed off by Tim Scott, the senator from neighboring South Carolina. They're saying that America is not racist. The vice president says America is not racist, but racism cannot be ignored. You're exposed to these families who are no doubt believe America is racist, but you're exposed to this system on a daily basis. Do you think America is racist?
Well, I think we all have lived experiences that colors our perspective. I believe there is systematic racism that permeates every aspect of American society, and it is marginalized minorities who have to live under the oppression of that racism. And, you know, it's some form of privilege when you really think about it to be able to debate racism. We don't have that privilege because we can't have that debate because we are dying. It causes death when we encounter racism. And I can give you all kind of exhibits and video from George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Pamela Turner, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, Terrence Crutcher. I mean, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah.
And this is our moment. We have to pass this George Floyd Justice and Policing Act so we don't continue to have more hashtags.
Yeah, we do say their names, but there are plenty of names to say on any given day. Benjamin Crump, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.